We're going to make quite a hard craft activity today. You're going to need a few different bits that you need to prepare beforehand, but it's really worth it because what we end up with is this rather fabulous Egyptian sarcophagus, which we're going to, I'll show you the inside at the end of it. So to be able to make this, you need some cardboard. This is a cereal packet, so it doesn't need to be any particularly special cardboard. Some packaging, cereal packet, some scissors, ruler, pencil, some masking tape if you can, and some glue, either a stick of glue like this or white glue like this. The first thing we're going to do is draw the outline of our sarcophagus. Now, what's a sarcophagus? I've shown you the little picture of it, and here is Vlad and Tutankhamun's tomb. I'm going to show you a picture at the end of the book. Here we have when they're discovering the tomb, they're opening up Tutankhamun's tomb, and inside they found the most incredible coffins and sarcophaguses, and there were lots of layers. There was one inside of another one, inside of another one, inside of a stone sarcophagus, and then there were all these extra layers on the outside that they had to keep going down. It was like finding buried treasure, all these exciting things inside. We're going to make something like this one at the end. So we need to start off with the head. Round curved head. It goes in at the neck side, and then it goes out into the body, down, 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 towards the feet. Oops. Now when you do it with a pencil, it means you can alter the shape a bit. So actually I like that side better. Try and even it up and make it more like that. Comes in there and goes down like that. So that's going to be the line that I follow when I cut it out. That's what I'm going to do now. This is the base of my sarcophagus. I'm going to now do the piece that I'm going to use for the lid. And I want the lid to be bigger because when it sits on top of the sarcophagus, I don't want it to drop inside. So here, this is bigger than the base. So I'm going to draw around this, but I'm not going to touch the edges of it. I'm going to just draw a little way out of it. And just to show you, I'm using the same side of the cardboard because I want to cut a long strip down that side in a minute. So here we go. So now you see I've got two pieces, one for the base and one for the top. And the top is the same shape but bigger than the bottom bit. Right, we're going to make the top first so that it has time to cook. You're going to find out why in a moment. Now I made some salt dough in a separate video, and I'm now using about a quarter of the salt dough that I made. It's quite sticky. I made it a couple of days ago, and I've kept it in a container with a lid on it so that it's still nice and gooey. I'm going to take out a quarter of that. Oh, it's all sticky, but I do want this quite sticky because what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this onto the top of my lid, and now I'm going to make the shape of my sarcophagus lid. I don't just want it to be flat lid. You could just decorate the top of the lid and just make it flat, but I want to make this a bit more 3D, this lid. So now I'm going to squidge my dough into the shape of my bigger piece. I'm going to get a little bit of flour on my fingers because at the moment they're so sticky that I can't make it work. So that's a good lesson to learn. Knock that off there, and I'm going to dip my fingers in there so that it works now. Now hopefully when I start squidging the feet this time, my fingers aren't going to stick it in it. That one is, because... Okay, that's the answer. Okay. Now, so we've got feet sticking up at the bottom. Keep smoothing those. And I think I'm going to dip my knife in the flour. I think I'm going to make it clear. Just going to put a score line. I suspect it needs to be quite deep, but these are two separate feet. Okay. Now, what are the mummies have their arms crossed? So now what I want is where the shoulder is. I want to create one arm. It might be easier to use a spoon. I'm going to use a teaspoon for this bit because I can use the end bit to create the arm shape, and then I can use that. Maybe the end bit's the easiest bit. That's one arm. That one's going over the top. That's that arm. I'm going to squidge that down a bit. Then the other arm is going to go underneath that one. There's the hand popping up underneath it. Now, there's the hand. Cut right into it so that you can see it, because I have a suspicion when it cooks, it's going to, when it dries, it might sink a bit. Flea is going to have this big headdress. This big headdress, and here's the face. To make a nose. There's the nose. Mouth. And big eyes. I'm going to put that in a low oven and see how that comes out. So while the top is drying and preparing, we're going to make the sides to go on the bottom of our sarcophagus. And first for that we need one big long strip of cardboard, which is why I wanted a nice long length of it. And I want the side to be about 6 centimeters tall, but I need it to be, this strip to be thicker than 6, so I can cut some bits off to go underneath. So I'm going to make it 8 centimeters. So if I measure 8 centimeters from this line, we're going to cut these bits off. 8 centimeters, sorry, did I say 6? 8 centimeters from here. I'm going to mark 8 centimeters, and I'm going to draw the line along here. Okay, so the tabs off. I don't want those bits on. I want the sides to be 6 centimetres tall. So I need a 2 centimetre line now, because I made this 8, because what we're going to do is make lots of little tabs that are going to go underneath the base and stick to it. I'll explain as we go. So here we go. I'm going to do this line. And what we're going to do now is make lots and lots of little tabs that will bend underneath the sarcophagus. So I'm going to cut evenly up as far as the line, about every centimetre, like this. Don't make it any bigger than that, because what we need is we need to be able to go around the curves on our base. Okay, and I'm going to carry on doing that all the way along the strip. I'm going to turn it over and just fold all those tabs up. This bit is now the fiddliest and trickiest bit. You need to have everything ready. We've got our cardboard ready, we've got our base ready, you need some glue, and I would suggest, I find it easier if you get lots and lots of little bits of sellotape like this. I've got them all along the camera stand ready to make sure I've got all the bits in place, because this is going to be a little bit tricky and a little bit frustrating, but it's worth it at the end. I'm going to start with the feet. I'm going to find a bit of the base that's about 2 tabs width. I'm going to leave plenty of card to go all the way around the other sides, and I'm going to add some glue onto this. Stick the feet on. Do it where there's 2 tabs, the cuts for 2 tabs either side, because we're going to need to bend them right round. Now turn it over. What we want is we want the blank side on the outside so that we can paint that and make it look pretty. Turn it over, and now we're going to put some sellotape, some extra sellotape over that, because keeping these bits in place is really tricky and you need all the sticky stuff you can get to do it. Right, we're going to build our way up around this side. So I'm going to add glue onto these tabs. I'm going to go all the way along, most of the way along. I'm going to go that far. Lid on, and then I'm going to do it bit by bit and keep adding sellotape, because what happens is it likes to try and bend back to its original shape. So I'm going to bend this one right up and put a couple more tabs in. They're right up on the edge there, and I am going to add some sellotape to keep them in place so they don't want to come away again, because they'll keep trying to come out. Do a couple more tabs, push it right in against the body, bend the cardboard. See, there's a little bit of a gap there. That's fine, because that's going around the shape of the body. Add some sellotape to persuade it to stay put. Okay, now we're going around a corner. Going to go around like that. You can see the shape appearing underneath it. If I let go of that, it's going to want to come apart. Add a bit more sellotape over the top. keep it in place. Okay, I've got glued that far, so we're all right still. We're going in on the neck. This one's going to be very tricky. We definitely going to need some sellotape to persuade those bits to stay put. Now, I've tried doing this without this extra bit and it all just keeps coming apart. I promise you, it is worth having these little bits of sellotape all lined up, or somebody sitting with you that can help you do this, because it really is deeply frustrating if it all keeps just falling apart again. We're on to our last glued bits. Let's see if we can get around the edge. Okay. There we go. Now you can see they're overlapping because they're going around a curve. And we're going to put our sellotape over that bit. Now we need to add some more glue onto this because we didn't get this far. And you're probably thinking, why am I adding glue and sellotape? And it is just because this cardboard doesn't want to go into this shape. This isn't the shape it was in before, and it's going to resist it. The more sticky stuff you can add to it, then the stronger it will be in the end. Okay, so round we go. Only try and do a couple of tabs at a time. Don't try and do it all in one go, because it just isn't going to work, I'm afraid, folks. It needs this extra, needs to be done very, very gradually. There we go. See, that's come apart already. Possibly need someone with long fingers at this stage. Head is a very tricky bit. It's going right the way around. Tuck the tab underneath. At this point, if you need to do it one tab at a time, then do that. Because what you don't want is for everything to go back to the beginning again. Sit it down, press it into place if you need to. Bend this cardboard, just encourage it to go around the corners. Right, we're getting there. Now, I'm going to carry on doing this. Because I need to get me some more sellotape apart from anything else, and I'll come back to you when I've got all the way around the edge. Okay, I've got all the way around, and I had some extra card which I've cut off. Now I've just got these two bits to stick together, so I'm going to put some glue on the inside there. The reason I'm not putting sellotape on the outside is that actually it's really difficult to paint over sellotape. I'm going to put some sellotape on the inside. Now you can see we've got our sides on, and sometimes they don't look quite the same shape as the bottom, so it's worth just kind of bending it around a little bit, trying to get it to go to the shape around the head. Curve it round. Do it quite gently though, because you do not want all your good work to come to pieces. Encourage it to go into there. Don't worry too much if this is coming apart at this stage, because the next thing we're going to do is both going to help this stick together even more solidly and mean that we can paint the inside of it. So make sure you put your lid on the glue. Put those out of the way, and what we're going to do is take masking tape. Now, it doesn't matter if you haven't got masking tape, but if you can do this extra step, it really helps it hold together and it helps you paint it. Now, masking tape's great because not only can you paint over the top of it, so we're going to put it all over the inside of this shiny card. That means we can paint it. But it also is rippable, so if you rip it like this, you can get a piece off. You don't need to keep cutting, but I would not lose the end if I were you. So I'm going to put masking tape on the outside of this, just here, to hold this edge together, because it doesn't matter if we're going to paint over it, and we can paint over masking tape, so I can do that there. Now we've got a good solid edge there that's not going to come apart. And I'm going to take some masking tape bit by bit, and I'm going to go round the inside, take the straight edge, put it along the top of your sarcophagus and stick it over the shiny card like that. And we're going to do that all the way around, and we can overlap the edge here, and that will be an extra secure way of making sure that our bottom and our sides stick together. If I, for example, take that little bit and I go all the way down and it overlaps, I put my fingernail into the edge and it can now overlap, and it's extra secure now. It means that that is not going to come apart. So that's ready to paint, and this is what it looked like when I finished painting it. So this one, I painted the inside black, and I happen to have some gold paint, so I painted the outside gold. But if you've haven't got gold and you want to paint it yellow, something like that, you can do. So once your lid has come out of the oven, uncooled, possibly dried a little bit more, it took a long time for mine to dry through completely. It was in the oven for about an hour, and then I probably left it a couple of days before I painted it. And then I painted it up. I didn't video myself painting it. I spent a little bit of time doing it. I had some gold paint, so I painted it all over gold, and then I added the details around the eyes, added some blue for the lapis lazuli, and the feet details. It just sunk a little bit, but it's still got that 3D effect. So I've got my base, and I've got my lid, and it feels quite heavy. It feels very satisfying, and of course it sits on top because it's a little bit bigger. The final thing I did for my Egyptian sarcophagus is I went up to my son's bedroom and found a figure that would fit into here. I mummified it. So this is one of his figures up from his bedroom, which I then found some cotton, and I wrapped it up like a mummy. If you haven't got cotton, you could use some tissue. You should tell the person whose figure you're taking. I did tell him afterwards, he does know where it is. And now my mummy can go inside his sarcophagus, lid on top, and he is all finished. So here we go. There we have Tutankhamun's tomb, all ready to be discovered. If you want to find out some more things to do, you can go to the YouTube channel or go to the website www.readingriddle.co.uk and see what other things we've got to make on the website.